Hey guys, what's up? And welcome back to Quality Shot Tennis. Today we are going over the Fritz Musetti match, which is going on at the moment. Also just talking all stuff Wimbledon quarterfinals and doing a Q&A as well, and just having a chat about all stuff going on Wimbledon at the moment. David will not be able to join today. It's just going to be me. But yeah, feel free to ask any and all questions you have. And I'm going to put Fritz Musetti on my end, so can watch a little bit of that as well. Yeah, how are you guys doing? Musetti trying to currently tie it up at a set apiece. So what's currently happening? It's 30-all on Fritz's service game. Some chances, some minor chances here for Musetti. I saw you ask ADM a question. Was that you? No, not me. But there are a few commentators that we have at the event. So Faison, for example, is at the tournament at the moment. We've been asking loads of players lots of questions after the press conferences, which is really, really crazy. I mean, there's been some questions that we've asked that I've seen pop up in other media spaces. Like Faison asked Rybakina about how she now has 90% win rate on grass. By the way, a tweener from Fritz failed attempt, but Musetti has a break point now. So that's a big moment in the Musetti-Fritz match. But saying how she has now like the third highest win percentage on grass in the Open era. And Rybakina replied to that, and I saw that in a few different places. So yeah, we've been asking a lot of different questions there, which is really, really cool. What's up, Jerome? How have you found these dual commentary Q&A chat lives? This has been fun. I've really enjoyed doing this. I hope that when we do play-by-play streams, we can do more of those because it's been fun. I think the solo ones. Oh, sorry about that, guys. Sorry about that, guys. My camera fell on me a little bit there. It's all right though. No, they've been good. I think the solo ones you can engage with the chat more, which is always, I think, kind of the main basis of the streams, being able to engage with the chat. But it's also very good. It's kind of like talking tennis does a lot of like the two people watching a tennis match and talking, and also talking to the chat, and they do it very, very well. I think it would be cool if QualityShot did more of those. We have done a few in the past, of course, especially for some big matches like finals. I also remember that Federer's retirement match. There was a duo stream, but yeah, I think that would be good to include more of those because it's good. I mean, I don't know. It's almost like it makes it I don't know, a little bit less lonely, or I don't know if lonely is the right word, but it makes it a little bit less like, I don't know. It's good to have that other person, especially if you're going to be doing like a 5-hour stream, just to be there constantly to kind of chat with, because you have the play-by-play, you have the matches, and the chat is absolutely amazing to talk to during the streams. And like I said, I think they're the main part of the stream, but it's good to have that other person there. So I think if we could do more of that, that would be great. Oh, wow. That is just phenomenal from Fritz, that pass there. What's up, Lewis? Obviously, the winner shall be Djokovic and Fritz. Yeah, Djokovic. Minaur had an unfortunate withdrawal earlier, which I found very unfortunate. On match point, he joined the Final 8 club, which is a famous thing at Wimbledon. And the very moment he did that, he got injured with a sensational volley. So just very unfortunate. Wow. Fritz breaks to love with some incredible shot making. Yeah, we'll see if Musetti can even kind of take a set here. Fritz looks absolutely just determined not to even let him have a set. But yeah, I thought Minaur would at least go into that match just hyper competitive, backing himself with a shot, especially after United Cup. He likes the grass. He's not one of these guys that Novak plays, and he's like not one of these younger guys that just doesn't know how to play on grass whatsoever. Runa. No. So I thought that maybe there was a chance there. But I just don't know. I feel sad for Minaur, but it means that there are only 5 players left in the less than that. 5 players left in the tournament. Djokovic, Musetti, Fritz, Medvedev, and Alcaraz. One of those guys is winning the Wimbledon tournament. So, and Djokovic and Fritz. Yeah, I think Fritz over Musetti. I feel confident about Fritz over Musetti. Musetti's done great to this point, but Fritz is going to get so much confidence off of that Zverev win, and I think that Fritz at this point is going to be able to do well to kind of attack and aggravate that backhand side of Musetti, and his serving has just been unbelievably good. And there's just a few things. I think Fritz has more to hurt Musetti personally than Musetti has to hurt Fritz consistently right now on grass. And I think just Fritz is playing better at the moment overall. Musetti has had some tighter matches than Fritz has had, in my opinion. He's been robbed. Fortunately not, but I think everything is okay with the camera. I just have to be careful. But now it's locked in tight on the computer, so it won't fall. Thoughts on Rybakina versus Krejcikova? Yeah, that should be great. My thoughts are Rybakina is playing some of the best tennis of the whole tournament. I mean, her performance against Svitolina today, her performance against Wozniacki, her performance against the little we could get from her against Samsonova. In my opinion, she's a little bit too much at the moment, but I also think that Krejcikova now, this is a resurgent tournament for her. I think it absolutely is. Her confidence is back. She's just so good and so solid, and I think that that's going to be a great match. But I would be slightly shocked if Rybakina loses it. I just feel like Rybakina's game is perfectly almost form fitted for a grass court, whereas Krejcikova, I've never thought that it really is, although she's been playing great. And obviously beating Ostapenko in the way she did is very impressive. She has this kind of winning mindset about her right now, which is really, really something to behold. But I still feel like winning mindset. I still feel like Rybakina, even though she has this kind of more calm nature and mindset, I feel like she's just a calm, quiet killer. And I feel like Rybakina's going to get it. Yeah, I can see how the partner adds to the dynamic and makes it feel more personable. Yeah, it's just kind of, it definitely helps to have that other person there. Does benefit Djokovic though? Is it not like he is tired from the hours on court? Does it benefit Djokovic though? Yeah, I think it does help him. I would expect that it does help him. I mean, it's not like he didn't play 2 4-set matches, so you could say lucky for Novak. But we'll see. I mean, I'm not discounting these two guys necessarily against Novak either, at all. Novak's the favorite now to make it to the final, but Fritz, before the tournament has started, said that his dream is to win Wimbledon, to beat Novak on the way there. So I'm not saying he's going to do it, but there's something strong about envisioning that in your head. Like, who in their right mind is even doing that, you know? But Fritz is doing that, and great backhand here. Fritz back in control. But like, there's something strong about envisioning it in your head and then trying to put it into reality. Like, other people are just like afraid of the situation when it comes. Fritz will be ready for it because he's been thinking about it. So that's one thing. The other thing is Fritz played an amazing match against Novak in Australia, and that's not the first close match that they played. They played a very close, great match at the ATP Finals a couple of years ago. Obviously, Fritz against Novak in Australia that one year almost came back 2 sets love down, although big asterisk with Novak's injury. But huge asterisk. But still, I mean, Fritz has beaten Rafa. He almost beat Rafa at Wimbledon. Like, Fritz is one of these guys, like, he's not going to be afraid of the situation. He's going to be there for it. He's been playing amazing. He's going to get that confidence from having just beaten Zverev. It's a set point for Musetti, by the way. Got to be careful. Fritz does save it. I mean, I would just say making Novak go 0-15 on break points, what Novak is known for, converting break points and on return of serve, that is a huge, crazy stat when it comes to that kind of. It's a huge, crazy stat when it comes to Novak's tournament. Huge stat. So I think so I'm not going to discount these two guys, but yeah, Joker's the favorite, and I think that it's definitely lucky for him to get through that kind of quarters. Always wondered if a player has gone to match point, then retired just to make a point, like they know they couldn't play next round, but showed they would have won, but retired to let the other continue. Yeah, but I almost think it was too late to retire because it was literally he hit the volley and it was a winner, and then that was it. So I don't even know if that would be allowed, as kind of insane as that sounds. If he injured himself on the second to last point, I still feel like de Minaur would have no clue whatsoever, genuinely, if he would be able to play the next match or not. I don't think he knew after that point either. He had this look about him that was really afraid, but you just never know. Sometimes it seems really bad, and then you can kind of still play and even win the match. So yeah, it's just tough. It was a tough situation. It was just unfortunate more than anything else. But yeah, you wouldn't be allowed to. de Minaur wouldn't be allowed to hit that shot, win the match, and then 10 seconds later say, you know what, my opponent goes through. It's just not something that's in the rules. It's just unfortunate. It's one of those really unfortunate situations. It's like Novak at the French as well. Beat Francisco Cerundolo, and then withdrew from the quarterfinals. And Cerundolo wasn't given a chance or anything. But I mean, yeah. But you lost. If you lose the match, you don't deserve to go on. So I personally don't see much merit in thinking about that stuff. Hey, what's up, KC? Good to have you in here. Yeah, totally. Yeah, it's just tough, but I feel that. Aoki managed to equal Novak till the fifth set, and the presser said that the challenge will have the stamina for 5 sets. I guess on grass he has a bigger chance for sure. Yeah, I totally agree. I think on grass it would be the bigger contest. And yeah, we'll see what happens. I definitely am not putting Novak straight through to the finals like some people are. I also think Musetti, if he's able to beat Fritz, Musetti's a guy who's beaten Novak before and given him trouble. We know that. Musetti shows up against Novak, so it's kind of like the Alcaraz thing last year. Like people were discounting Alcaraz because it's grass court, but then you look at what Musetti is doing right now, and it's like maybe we shouldn't discount him so much. He's only lost in the last 2 years versus either top 15 players or Matteo Berrettini on grass. It seems like he likes playing on grass. So I just wouldn't fully count him out. Some good play here from Musetti as well, really trying to take the second set. Hey, what's up, Lexi? Good to have you in here. Hello, Lexi. Novak plays the winner of Taylor Musetti. Yes. Yeah, de Minaur withdrew. Alex de Minaur, me, withdrew from the event. I withdrew, which is really unfortunate. But yeah, I mean, good in terms of Novak's draw, which was what we were talking about in terms of, his fitness and stuff. I would think. I don't think it's going to hurt him. Although it might hurt him. I mean, everything is a mix of good and bad. That extra match play before going into a tough match versus, say, Fritz or something could be a good thing to have. But still, mostly sad for de Minaur, and yeah, the winner of this one will play Novak. Yes, he withdrew. How sad. Yep, injury was too bad for Demon, I guess. It was that's such a. I mean, how are you going to hit one of the best match points of the whole tournament? I mean, I guess he just wasn't even considering an injury. He was just thinking, I gotta win this match point no matter what. I gotta win this match point no matter what. He comes up with this insane volley, but yeah, man, it's just like, I don't know. It's unfortunate. That was a good 4-set match versus Feast. This has been a really, really wild Wimbledon. I mean, we have Sinner out to Medvedev. That was the 36th 5-set match of the whole tournament. Even Alcaraz Paul wasn't 5 sets. That was crazy. Sinner Berrettini earlier in the tournament was crazy. We've had almost every other match has just been absolutely nuts. It feels like it's been a tournament to behold. Very exciting, very, very exciting. You just hope these players are healthy for the Olympics. Some players aren't even playing the Olympics, but I hope that we can get as many people playing as possible for the Olympics, because it should be a big tournament, obviously. It's the Olympics. We have Medvedev, Alcaraz, and Djokovic now through to the semifinals. That's exactly what it was last year, except Sinner was able to be the 4th player there. Now the 4th player is going to be Musetti or Fritz. A new big 4 for a minute at this Wimbledon. Yo, yo, yo. Yo, yo. How goes it, Joe? Musetti still with chances here. Yeah, we can do a bit of a Q&A if you have any kind of questions towards me or what I think about some of the tennis. And then also we can just chat about the quarterfinals. On the women's side, well, first I will say Medvedev played amazing against Sinner. I've seen some people saying that Sinner was injured, and he was. I mean, you could tell very much so in the 3rd set that Sinner was looking almost done. Like, it wasn't looking good for Sinner. But yeah, even Sinner said himself he started feeling better in the 4th and 5th sets, and Medvedev earned that victory. He played absolutely phenomenal in the 5th set. So yeah, he played absolutely phenomenal in that 5th set. So I think that to discount Medvedev here is kind of similar to what I was saying about Musetti, but on a different level. I mean, Medvedev has won a grass tournament before. He reached the semifinals here last year. And he's a guy that you don't want to count out. The way he was serving yesterday and the way he was playing yesterday, standing much closer to the baseline, and just looked so zoned in the whole match. Very similar to Alcaraz at the U.S. Open. If he can keep up that level, then you never know. It's going to be hard versus Alcaraz, but I think Medvedev's going to show up for it. I mean, Medvedev didn't beat Sinner and then just start cheering like crazy, like that was the most important win of the tournament. Like, job's not done. Like, Medvedev, I think, has come here to play, and what a crazy, if it could happen, what a crazy tournament for Medvedev to win. If he could somehow beat Sinner, then Alcaraz, and then Djokovic to win his 2nd slam on a grass court would be insane. But anyway, far from that happening. But I wouldn't count out Medvedev because he was playing one of the higher levels I've seen of the tournament so far. That definitely means something. By the way, 2024 tiebreaker record. Fritz is a fantastic 16-6. That's incredibly, incredibly good. Like, that's so good. Musetti is also positive. It's 11-10. But Fritz has an absolutely absurd record there in tiebreakers this year. Fritz has been underrated this year. I said it before the tournament started. He's been having an underrated season. He's primed for a big result. I had Fritz making the semis. A lot of people had Korda. A lot of people had Zverev. I had Fritz. I felt happy about it. Feeling even better now. What a point. Musetti, one of the best shot makers on tour when his game is on, gets the first point with the backhand pass. Fritz's on-court presence in between points has often intrigued me. He's languid, almost lazy-like. Maybe it's just his natural way. Maybe helps him stay loose. Yeah, it's fair. Yeah, I think it's a kind of contrast, right? I think it's the contrast of the calm to ease the kind of pressure that he's constantly putting on himself to do better and better. That's constantly his mindset. He's talking. I mean, I saw it firsthand, like right on court in Atlanta, like just talking to his box and just trying little things better and better and better. Every match, between matches, like that's just the kind of mindset. So he's putting so much pressure on himself to perform so well. Like I said, coming into this Wimbledon, he said he was dreaming of winning Wimbledon and beating Djokovic on the way. I mean, even if that's like crazy talk, he's never going to be able to do, and Novak will win, whatever. Like, even if that's the case, that's the kind of impressive interesting, notable kind of mentality that Fritz is applying on himself. So, and I think he needs that kind of calm demeanor to kind of balance that out. But yeah, I mean, to me, he seems like a very kind of, I don't know, like a kind of genuine kind of guy. And I think he kind of needs that kind of mixture, because he seems very calm. At times he's like laughing on court. I think he kind of needs that to balance out the kind of trying to get the best out of himself constantly. I think that's what he kind of needs. If I like psychoanalyze, I have no idea, but it's my kind of guess. Chalk flew up. It's real-time Hawkeyes, the chalk on the lines on grass. And loving Kyrgios and McEnroe on commentary. Yeah, that's the one thing. I wish I could hear more Mac and Kyrgios commentate. I haven't heard much of it, but that must be entertaining. I'm not surprised by Kyrgios being good on the mic. He's always come across to me as like an articulate, like smart guy in some way. I don't think a lot of people would feel the same, but I don't know. And McEnroe, that's a very interesting contrast between two guys that are pretty comparable, I guess, in some ways, at least the way they handle themselves. So that's funny. The revenge finals still is almost certain. Still see Alki winning Wimbledon. Yeah, I mean, it's very possible, but also, would you completely discount Novak there as well? I don't know. How crazy would that be? Yeah, it will be interesting to see about that Wimbledon final. And I mean, listen, we were at a point, I mean, it's kind of hard to remember almost with this tournament going on, but we were at a point where we were wondering, is Novak even going to win more slams? Is Novak even going to get to more Grand Slam finals? He definitely could get to, I mean, he could still get like 5 or 6 more Grand Slam finals, but it's completely uncertain. I would like to point out the fact that this could be the last Grand Slam final Novak reaches if he does get there. And it would be pretty fitting. It would be very fitting, in fact, for Alcaraz versus Djokovic at Wimbledon to be the last slam final that Novak or any of the big three reach in their careers. Right now, that goes to his U.S. Open final versus Medvedev, which is like whatever. But a poetically fitting kind of last slam final, it seems like Alcaraz at Wimbledon would be pretty good. Not that these stories kind of write themselves. You can't kind of write a perfect, last Grand Slam final, but I definitely can imagine that scenario playing out. But the longevity of these guys is crazy. I mean, say what you want about draws, but Novak at 37 years old getting to a Grand Slam final is really impressive. And that's up there as one of the oldest Grand Slam finalists. Not the oldest, but it's up there. Obviously, Roger at Wimbledon is, I don't know where he ranks, I think right behind Rosewall, who got there at 39 years old. Oh, what a point here. Oh, he just missed it, did he, Taylor? Taylor just missed a lob. Are you still backing Rybakina for the win? Yeah, absolutely. I mean, listen, is there anything that's gone against Rybakina now that I should not think otherwise? I don't think so. The only thing is Krejcikova is looking fantastic, honestly. So that's the only thing, but I'm absolutely backing Yelena still. No doubt. I think that this is her time to get it, in my opinion. Wow, Musetti trying to tie it up a set apiece. I would not fully withdraw. I would not fully discount Musetti here. This is great. What's up, Tom? Sorry, a crap day, but okay now. Sorry to hear that. Hopefully it goes better. Be hoping for that. Hopefully a better day tomorrow. How much are England beating Netherlands by tonight? I don't know. Yeah, I'll back England, but oh wow, I think Fritz made that. It was called in, but there's going to be a challenge here. I'm just hoping not for another, that we don't get another 0-0 game with 0 goals. where we need to go into the shootouts. Like I just hope we don't get that, but yeah, that'll be interesting. Like we did earlier in the Euro. Yeah, damn football, no offense, okay. I mean, none. Okay. Djokovic Alcaraz final this year going to be the first match to end in a draw. It'd be quite compelling. I don't know. I'm trying to imagine a draw in tennis. I've never really thought about that before. What would that even look like? What would a draw even look like? Like both players injure themselves at the same time. Both players are completely unable to play. Hopefully that doesn't happen. Both players like just withdraw. It's like, hey, this is a draw. Where I'll see you at the Olympics. Like, let's just do this at the Olympics instead. Save our bodies for the Olympics. It's a huge moment in the semifinal. Third set point. Oh, wow. Oh, wait, what's going on here? Okay, Musetti's serve was called in, but Fritz is challenging. It was in, right on the line. Okay, set a piece. Became even more interesting this quarter. Regarding Djokovic, after this Olympic season, I struggled to see him maintaining this motivation. Already had problems with it this year and even admitted to it. After this Olympic season, I struggled to see him maintaining motivation. Already had problems with it this year and even admit to it. Yeah, I mean, I definitely see where you're coming from, Step. It could be that kind of a thing where the motivation is just withering kind of away from him. I mean, it kind of makes sense if you think about it. I mean, for the longest time, he had Roger and Rafa completely guiding his mindset. And people have talked about this before, but then at the end of last year, he had Alcaraz and revenge against Alcaraz and from his Wimbledon final, and that was driving him. I mean, what is his drive now? I feel like the drives are becoming less and less. He has nothing to prove. He's 37 years old. He's already defied age. I don't know. What's the motivation, The motivation has to be, I think the motivation has to come from a kind of place of, I have all the records. I need to make sure that they never get broken. And less so thinking about the records now, more so thinking about the records as they might be in the future. Like Alcaraz, Sinner, or whoever the next guys after that and the generation after that. Like whoever gets there, they might get like 27 slams, especially if they don't have to deal with three other all-time greats in the same era. I mean, having one or two, maybe one, is very, very good because they force you to get better. But having two or three, I mean, that kind of detracts. You would have to think that kind of detracts from your slam tallies. It in this case, maybe, I don't know. It's a very interesting thing to think about because in one ways, the big three pushed each other to be absolutely dominant to the utmost extreme, but also they kind of took slams away from each other in some way. So I almost wonder if the next guy will have maybe just like one all-time great rival in his generation pushing him, but he's better. So like a Sampras Axie situation, he's better than that guy beating him in finals, and he's able to just stack up trophy after trophy, and then maybe he could get like 30 slams, with two other guys not getting 20. So maybe Novak just needs to think about that and is like, okay, I need to stop that from happening. I need to get the records for the future when other guys get the records. I think that's more so the kind of thing but outside of that kind of a thing, in terms of right now, he's got the records that there's not much motivating him for right now. So we'll see if he can find that motivation. Also, just playing and enjoying the game is part of it. He wants to be a family, part of the reason he just doesn't care and lashed out at the crowd too. Yeah, maybe. It's definitely a worthy theory. I mean, I would assume it gets harder and harder. He has spoken about how he wants to play long. He wants to be like Tom Brady. So we'll see. I mean, he is doing well this Wimbledon, so I bet Novak wants to hit the 25. Just feels like a satisfying number. I agree with you, Jerome. And also, it's it doesn't really matter, does it? But if he gets to 25, that's something nobody in the history of the sport or in the history of women's tennis or men's tennis has ever done. Margaret Court has gone to 24 majors. Not that it matters. I mean, these are two different, like, it's two different ball games, right? Women's tennis and men's tennis, but you still, I still feel like it's not a bad thing, be completely alone and that many Grand Slams won. And also, yeah, just 25 seems like a great number. But yeah, we'll see. I think Novak's still motivated, but it's harder for him to find that motivation. It's not the same as it was up until the end of last year. I'll say that. Wow, Musetti is playing so well right now. This is danger for Fritz. This is danger time for Taylor Fritz, I'll be honest. Surprising me. I didn't really expect this. But Musetti's got more variety than Fritz does. I did say earlier that Fritz, I think, has more to hurt him on this surface, but seeing the power of Musetti's shots from the back of the court and the way he's kind of handling Fritz's shots, I'm starting to think that I had the dynamic all wrong here. Yeah, this is good. And Musetti able to do something on Fritz's serve here, potentially. He's at love 30. He's standing pretty far behind the baseline here. He does miss that one long. I don't see the top three winning US this year. Yeah, I mean, it comes after a crazy, crazy part of the season, right? I think Medvedev could do it. I could imagine one of those guys doing it, but it would be a very impressive feat after the summer that we've had. No doubt. Man, I guess watch out for Musetti here a little bit. Musetti's that guy that has literally zero pressure on him. I mean, Fritz still has pressure on him, especially from the American media and American crowds. Musetti is this guy who, listen, this guy's got, he's got pressure from the Italian media as well, I'm sure, but nobody's been expecting him to do this well at Wimbledon. So, or at a slam. I mean, he's never even been to the quarters of a slam before. So he's just coming in with zero pressure. I would watch out. That is insane from Musetti. Wow, he's so fast. He had an absolutely stellar match against Novak at the French. And he's going to be motivated to get revenge. He's like, you know what? I should have won that match at Roland Garros. You know what? Maybe you should have. That's not a bad take. He played so well in that match. Svitolina was arguably closer to the win, but Novak kind of took it from him. But Musetti, he was playing. Whew. Every other rally was just next level in that match. One of the best Grand Slam matches of the year. One of the best matches of the year. So, Musetti, if he takes on Novak, he always troubles Novak. So, he's just one of these guys that just wouldn't fully count out. Twin Reba will win for sure. Yeah, I agree. I think England wins the Euros, but they have to beat the Dutchman first. Yeah, I agree. Yeah, I think England's got it, though. I'm with you. Good depth from Musetti at the moment. Panko, yeah. So you see Panko tell her coach to leave the court today. I did see that, yeah. That's pretty wild. Panko's unpredictable, though. But, yeah. Thoughts on the infamous Runa controversy July 2024? Great question. I'll get to that in a moment. Not a good approach from Fritz, but Musetti missed that anyway. Yeah, my thoughts on the Runa situation. Okay, so I like that version of Novak. I'll say that first. It's the same Novak that we saw in 2007, 2008 U.S. Open, telling off the crowd after, or telling off Andy, I should say, to the crowd after Andy he went against the crowd a little bit because he just beat Roddick, who made fun of his injuries before the match in the press conference, and he was saying that to the crowd, like, listen, I don't accept it. I'm not okay with it. I like that version of Novak. He says what's on his mind, and is this kind of unbothered, just very real, says what's on his mind Novak. And I like that. I think it's good. I like to see athletes being themselves. And I also can kind of understand where he was coming from in some way, because there probably were some people who were using that as an excuse, although I heard that it was overwhelmingly positive, the atmosphere, from what I've heard from people who were even in the stadium. But I can understand that there are probably some people who are going, Runa, and like maybe even doing this or something. Like, I can understand that that's also an excuse to boo. But I will say, that came off weird. It came off weird to me. Him saying that, and also the "you can't touch me." Like, obviously the crowd's gone under his skin a little bit, and it's a little bit weird to see him go that intense and hard in the paint with that. Although it was a heat in the moment right after the match. This is what you get when you interview passionate players after a match. Oh wow, what a point here. Fritz running all over the court, but it doesn't matter at the end of the day. Yeah, I found it a little bit cringeworthy. I'm not even gonna lie, if I'm being fully honest. I found it a little bit cringeworthy. But I also don't mind it. Like, he was saying what's on his mind, so I found it funny. I found it cringeworthy. I found it entertaining. I found it weird. That was my opinion. I'm not even saying I dislike the moment, but it was definitely a little bit cringeworthy. I thought it was weird how hard he went with that moment, like, to something that didn't seem that big a deal at all. Like, it felt a little bit strange. The BBC interview, I understand why he walked out. At first, I found it a little bit weird too, but then I kind of understand why he walked out. Like the guy interviewing him seemed completely disinterested in having an actual interesting conversation. This guy was just pestering him with question about the crowd. And then it was like, oh, okay, what about Musetti? Like, he didn't even ask a real question. Like, he was just like, the guy was just there to get a viral moment out of Novak, and Novak saw that immediately. So he wasn't there to ask interesting interview questions. So that's my thoughts. Entertaining, but also a little bit cringe, to be honest. I'm expecting Sinner to reach the final, and he's out before the semis. Yikes. Yeah. Well, Medvedev, I didn't even have him playing Medvedev. I had him playing Grigor, but I discounted Medvedev. And yeah, I will rarely do that again. But 60 Grand Slam quarterfinals feels illegal. I agree. 60 quarterfinals is the most ridiculous number. Just think about doing anything in like a high-level sport 60 times. Quarterfinals, 60 times. Unreal stat. He could still add to it. It's not like that's titles. That's quarterfinals. He probably will still add to that number. So, crazy, crazy stuff. Congratulations, Sue. Hopefully she can win another doubles title at Wimbledon. Yeah, she's not getting any attention, but she's won like a lot of consecutive doubles matches. Yeah, that's Shay. Yeah, she's great. 38 years old, still absolutely killing it. Killing it. Absolutely killing it. Defending champion last year in women's doubles. Musetti is just on it today. This is great. Really, really solid stuff. It's a good slice, too. But that forehand is redirecting so many great shots just so easily. And he's so fast, Musetti. It's a joke. I mean, come on. That forehand today. Oh, that's got to be an apology. What was that? He just hit an overhead that was more of a slice drop shot. Musetti just hit an overhead that was more of a slice drop shot. And just to really nail the coffin into Fritz's grave, it hit the net cord on the way through. That was a miss hit if I've ever seen one. I mean, this dude just hit an overhead drop shot. This dude just hit the most effective overhead drop shot in the history of tennis. 30 all. Musetti could go up a double break here. This is danger for Fritz. I mean, come on. If Fritz once again doesn't make his maiden Grand Slam semifinal, which I have to say is looking like what's going to happen here, although I wouldn't discount Fritz, but Musetti's playing the better tennis at the moment. He's kind of starting to run away with the set. Fritz is rushing. I will say that. That's what it seems like. Oh, no way. Okay, the lob goes just out. Some amazing defense from Musetti, though. Almost snuck a point there. Right now, Court is still the all-time GOAT. Yeah, I mean, she's definitely one of them, right? I think part of the thing goes that Court was playing kind of in the Roy Emerson kind of era where a lot of players were playing like the pro tournaments and stuff, like those before the Open era, but she's definitely one of them. For me, it's Navratilova. Back in the day, Serena is right up there, but Celis is an asterisk GOAT in my opinion. Graf is up there, Everett's up there, but for me, Navratilova is the GOAT at the moment. Serena probably right behind with Everett and with Graf. But and with Court is somewhere there too. I mean, to win 23 majors or 24 majors is absurd, but I will say that there is a little bit of an asterisk there with Court, even though she did do really well in the Open era as well, to be fair. Good night. Yeah, it was fun. It was funny. I will say that. I found it weird and funny. There's no denying they don't like Novak. Yeah, I mean, a lot of the crowd has had issues with Novak, so I don't mind him saying that. Like, it's true. It's true. He's had issues with that crowd over the years. Like, despite being a big Wimbledon champion. And I'm not one of these guys to say, like, oh, he's the GOAT. You should respect him and like him because he's the GOAT. Like, that doesn't make any sense. Like, I don't like whatever. Like, winning is one thing. Like, respecting the records is one thing. But that just goes back to the fact that no fan base is able to disconnect the GOAT argument from the liking a player argument. Like, no one is able to disconnect that. Like, if we're truly disconnecting the GOAT argument from the liking him argument, then we should say, okay, one thing is you should be able to say that he's the GOAT, but you should also not be able to like him, which is fine. Same thing for Federer. Like, back in the day, he was definitely the GOAT, but if you didn't like him, that's fine. I personally really liked Roger, but yeah, I agree. That Wimbledon crowd has been very tough. Even in 2015, that final, I remember there's so much cheering. Roger and Novak still got it done. That's why his celebration was as passionate as it was after he won that match, because the crowd was so much on Roger's side. I mean, shout out to both of them. Roger and Novak are both absolute greats of sport. And I have huge respect for both, but is what it is. I'm not a fan of doubles, but last year's ladies doubles final was so gripping. Listen, Shea plays some great matches. Shea and Mertens this year against, who was it? Siniakova and her partner. I can't remember who it was. But that semifinal was the best women's doubles match I've ever seen. I haven't seen a better one, personally. I should look at more back in the day. I haven't really looked at historic women's doubles matches, honestly. That's just not something I've done. But that match this year was absolutely sensational. I mean, just amazing moment after amazing moment. Very compelling and very high level. This defense from Musetti. He's still in this point somehow. Wow. Musetti's defense right now is really troubling Fritz. Quarterfinal stage, by far my favorite round of a major. I love seeing the 5-30 ranked players trying to knock off top seeds. Ooh, I like that. I like that take. Yeah, quarterfinals is a fun one. I always loved semifinals. Both guys pouring their heart out into trying to make a Grand Slam final. Because nobody ever, it's just two amazing matches after one another. Semifinals are underrated, man. People always focus on the final, but semifinals is where my heart is. I always felt this way. I always did. Just watching two great matches after another. I mean, the final is great, but it's a hit or miss, right? It's just one match. But having two semifinals back to back, both guys pouring their absolute heart into trying to make a final. Nobody remembers the semifinalists of a Grand Slam, but everybody remembers the finalists. And everybody both in those semifinals, they are doing absolutely what they can to make it to that big moment and make that Grand Slam final. So I always love semifinals. That's my thing. But I get that about the quarterfinals too. Kind of a similar thing too. Because semifinals is always fun because sometimes you get a little bit unexpected players in the semifinal and you get them trying to upset those top seeds. You get a little bit of that. Maybe slightly in a lesser way. Like you sometimes get like the number 12 player trying to beat the, let's say, number 3 or 4 player, for example. Not the number 30, for example, usually. Although we have had Aslan Karatsev and other players like that throughout history. Martin Verkerk, other players. I prefer to watch the qualifiers and wildcards. They're more intense. Yeah, they care about every match because they don't usually get to those stages. So if Novak wins Wimbledon and Olympics, I don't see him being very motivated for the U.S. Open. That's a great take. If he wins the Olympics, then I don't know. Is he gonna just be motivated to build on top of that? But I'm kind of with you. If he wins the Olympics, I think Novak is gonna find it hard to have motivation. The Olympics is kind of one of the last things I think that he's very, very, very motivated for. I kind of think that's a good take, especially if he wins Wimbledon as well. He's already kind of confirmed his kind of GOAT status. I mean, some people will still say other people as GOAT, but there's not that much more you can do to differentiate yourself if you're Novak. I mean, triple career slams, double career masters, 60 Grand Slam quarterfinals, 24 majors, 36 Grand Slam finals, which is like 5 or 6 more than the next person. Like, he's done what he can, and it's very even across all of the surfaces. Like you can argue GOAT status, but like he's done all he can. Like 430 weeks, number 1, 428. So he doesn't really need to do much to really like, okay, now I'm going to confirm that I'm like the GOAT. He's already done that, you know? So I think if he wins the Olympics, it's going to be hard. I think it's going to be hard to find that motivation. And personally, I think that Sinner and Alcaraz are going to be really tough at the U.S. Open. I still think that those guys are going to show up there if they're healthy. And listen, young legs, I think they'll be fine. I think U.S. Open is the kind of tournament where anybody can win. Wow. Fritz still fighting, but Musetti just a little bit too good. Or do you mean me not liking doubles? Good night. I like Spain. I actually predicted Spain or Germany, if not England. Well, I thought France had a shot at it, but it didn't seem to go that way as things panned out. 100% feel you on that take there, yeah. The only thing I didn't like was when Novak said something about Shelton months after that U.S. Open matchup. Yeah, that wasn't great. Okay, so I'm a Novak fan. The only moment recently where I truly just didn't like something that Novak did was last Olympics when he pulled out the mixed doubles bronze medal match. I thought that wasn't fair to his partner, and he didn't really have a good reason to do that. He just kind of pulled out of a huge match. Probably upset about the singles or something, but he didn't seem like he had much reason to at all. Outside of, I guess, like kind of not risking his body for the U.S. Open coming up, which was obviously a big moment that year. But that was the only moment within recent years where I truly just didn't like something that Novak did. Since the let's say like the beginning of the pandemic, which there's more you can say on that, which is just him having those parties and tournaments thrown was probably not great either. It was not great, but the Shelton thing still popping up. I still think we don't know something else that happened between Shelton and Novak that made that a little bit more personal. But they booed his winners in double faults. There's so much tribalism in tennis. We have to appreciate Grace tennis. I agree. There's tribalism in all of sports. There's tribalism in everything we do as people. It's one of the worst kind of parts of people, just the way that people kind of evolve. But it's we try to escape that as much as possible. Musetti beats Fritz. I just want him to say, enjoy your flight home, just like Fritz does to other people. That would be pretty funny. That'd be pretty funny. But I hope he does not do that. Fritz had good reason to say that. It'd be a bit pushing it. That's like Novak kind of doing the phone call on Shelton. Although maybe even a little bit worse than that. It would be funny. There's no doubt. Wow, that game completely got away from Taylor. Forehand miles out. Hey, what's up, Cedric? BBC and most of the journalists are so way off. I'd walk out too. Yeah, I'd walk out. I agree. A lot of the press annoys me. For most things. The media and the press are part of the problem in a lot of ways right now. Looking for clicks more than anything else, and it's really bad. It's really bad, especially with people who rely on those sources. It's really, really bad. Media control the conversation. Wonder how the crowd will react to Novak's next game. Sure it's some tense moments. Yeah, we'll see. Didn't get to have that Minaur match, but yeah, his next match after that huge press. Who has Francis Tiafoe USA interrupted? I think it was on men's seen the video. I don't know what you mean, Tom. Yeah, I haven't seen much of Tiafoe ever since that Alcaraz match. He did make that clowns comment, which was controversial. Definitely a weird comment from Tiafoe. I mean, I like that kind of thing where players are being honest and honestly themselves, but it's just a weird thing to say. Like, how are you going to say you're losing to clowns? Like, doesn't that make you a bigger, like, doesn't that make you a clown just by, like, literally just by the transitive properties or whatever? Like, can't you, like, okay, you're losing to clowns. Doesn't that in turn, aren't you calling yourself like a, you know what I mean? Like, that's not a very smart thing to say. Not just because you're calling people that your friends on tour that, but like, it's a weird thing to say. I had a little bit of secondhand embarrassment from that comment, to be honest. Is what it is. But I mean, I like players like that are honest. So you're just saying what's on his mind. That's fine, but it's not. Yeah, that wasn't not a great comment. Musetti is rocking shots from the baseline at the moment, and his forehand is about as good as I've ever seen it. Wow, this is stunning defense from Musetti. Here's what's happening. Musetti getting one more shot back, and then Fritz is missing the next one. That's what's going on right now. There are aspects to him we don't like. I like how he refused the Nike massive sportsmanship 2 times. They influenced the media. Sponsorship too. They influenced the media a lot. Fair enough. You can ask me about Novak. He was subject of mine in one of my electives in college. That's cool. Of course, you already know a lot about Novak. He has been transparent all this time. Yeah, I agree. He's been very real, I think. And yeah. I mean, I think Roger and Novak are both very genuine in the way they've handled themselves, which I don't think a lot of people think, but I think both of them have been. They're just very different. They're just both very different, you know. Musetti is a crafty player, yeah. Hey, what's up, Max? Good to have you in here. Imagine if Fritz serve just clocks the bird out of the air. Yeah, I mean, he's had by far the best serving numbers of anybody left in the competition. When the rally goes over 4 shots, Musetti is in control. He's winning all of the longer rallies, no doubt. So, absolutely. What the hell, Taylor? Imagine Musetti winning Wimby. What do I call him now? Well, probably not Musetti. I don't know. Musetti. Yeah, I mean, that would be so unexpected, but I would be so happy for him, man. I would be so happy for him, Lexi, if he was able to do that. Musetti, yeah, out of nowhere. Winetti. Musetti or Winetti is funny. Winetti. And then the media room with Catherine Whitaker was just watching some mixed doubles on a balcony next to Layden Hewitt. Faison, you're living life, man. That's crazy. Congrats. Managed to watch both women's matches this morning, but no space to us for Taylor, so watch it on screen. Okay, fair enough. Yeah, Taylor is kind of getting blown out of the water. Musetti has just shown up today. What a crazy tournament. First Sinner could go out, and then Musetti could be the Italian in the semifinals. That is genuinely so surprising. Hey, the tennis podcast company. That's sick. Yeah, that's so sweet. Faison, you're so like a celebrity. Absolutely. It's that famous hairline, I think. I think it's the hairline, Faison. Wow. Fritz is missing too many shots. Fritz is kind of giving it to Musetti, though. It's kind of both. Because Musetti is doing so well to get one more shot back, then another shot back. But Fritz is then missing the shot after that. Novak, the GOAT of Adria Tour. Yeah, that wasn't great. Faison, have you talked to Catherine? Taylor, Fritz's girlfriend. Hey, Morgan, walked past me in the media center to use the bathroom. That's pretty wild. You passed the biggest celebrity of the whole tournament. Twin Reba hates them too, and vice versa. We don't care. Tell him, Reba Gurr. I absolutely agree. That's why if when I do press, I'm gonna try to do better than some people I've seen do press. And I think everybody who's there for QualityShot obviously has been doing great stuff. So these are the people we want to impress. But yeah, the BBC journalist the other day, I agree. It didn't seem like good vibes right from the get-go. Name dropper Faison, yeah. No Paul as of yet. We'll see. Everyone is quite busy with stuff. Have talked to some other journalists, but trying to be respectful of people's time. Yeah, that's fair. Musetti winning greater percentage of first serves than Fritz. That's insane. I'm going to check the stats in a minute. Musetti is handsome. I just noticed when he was with his kid. Yeah, good looking guy. Roger met Taylor Swift. Yeah, rare L for Roger. Okay. So anyway, I'm not necessarily going to pick a side, but I'm going to pick a side. When Sinner said that he didn't even know who Taylor Swift was, I thought that was absolutely hilarious. Biggest Roger fan in the world. I am. I was surprised to see him at Taylor Swift concert, but I just don't like her music. But it is what it is. I just saw it on the Taylor Swift. I saw that. So ooh, I agree. I agree. It's all subjective taste, I guess. Wow, Fritz is missing so many shots. It's Fritz who's missing these forehands, and it's Musetti who's rocking it with the forehands from the back of the court at the moment, to be honest. Great stuff. Wow, another... Was that in? Okay, no, it was a let from Fritz. Musetti would be a big star if he won Wimbledon, because he does have the looks. Yeah, I agree. It definitely helps, no? Also, he's just one of these guys. I mean, we'd see a lot of Roger comparisons, right? We'd see a lot of Roger comparisons. It would be very exciting for the one-handed backhand. Man, when's the last time we had this many people talking about a potential one-handed backhand Grand Slam champ? I mean, it still doesn't seem particularly likely, but when's the last time it's even happened? I got Tsitsipas, right? But it's pretty cool. Wow, what a... I mean, Musetti is blistering forehands right now. He gets the deuce. Yeah, he does have the looks. I agree. So definitely doesn't hurt. Did you hear that Kyrgios, the new practice partner for Novak? I did not hear that joke, but that's wild. Anthony, yeah, we don't like Taylor Swift. Miley's actually way better. I agree. I mean, there's a lot of pop musicians that I think are way better than Taylor Swift, in my opinion. I mean, Rihanna, Caroline Polachek, Dua Lipa even I think is better. Ariana I think is better. Not that I listen to a lot of Ariana's music, but I mean, those are people that I all think are better. Just we're talking about female pop stars. Just not for me. I guess it's like country or whatever. I don't know. Swifties live the chat in huge numbers. No. Come back. I didn't mean it. I didn't mean it. Come back. No. What have I done? It's all jokes. Fritz staying alive in this set gets to 5-2, but it seems like Musetti's going to go up 2-1. I'm going to have to head out after this set, by the way. But glad I could jump on for a little bit. Still think Roger gear up and still win one match at Wimbledon. Yeah, I think he could. Roger is the most talented athlete ever, right? He's one of them. He's up there. I mean, yeah, you bring up... There's a few people to bring up, no, but Roger's like the most talented athlete ever. If he wanted to win a match at Wimbledon, he could win a match at Wimbledon. I'm not saying he could beat one of these guys, maybe, but probably not. But I'm not saying it's impossible. But Serena beat Annette Kontaveit, who was the world number 2 at 42 years old. That was truly like the I'm Serena match. Like Serena's Serena, you know. That's kind of epic when you can just say I'm Serena and that's already a compliment. That's when you know you made it. It's like stuff being made named after people. It's like when you have something named after you, like that means that you're pretty good. Like you've done pretty good. Where's Laver Cup going to be held again? Why am I blanking? Is it Germany or is it like San Francisco or I'm totally forgetting. Wait, hold up. Yeah, Germany. Berlin, Germany. And I think next year might be San Francisco. So we'll see. Team World out of nowhere is dominating that tournament. I don't know. Who would be winning that tournament this year? I guess Europe is always winning that tournament if they've got Alcaraz and Sinner, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. If they've got the best players, Europe should win. But and Alcaraz did sign up to play, although I don't know if he'll play, to be honest. But okay, a little bit better from Fritz. A little bit better from Fritz. Gets to love 15. It's nice to see Musetti doing well in grass. I only thought he was a great clay courter. I agree. I guess I had seen him have a impressive grass match last year, but I didn't think much of it at all. Like, I was like, okay, well, good for him to at least do slightly better on grass or start to, but I really didn't. This has gone completely out of my left field. So good for him. Better hitting from Fritz, no doubt. Although, man, that backhand still is just not at his best when it comes to attacking. What a rally. Oh, my God. Musetti, get out of here. Just get out. Walk out. Go. Dude, Musetti just hit this incredible swinging volley shot from the baseline. Musetti, how did he manage to win that point? Fritz was unable to accelerate off a backhand shot, but, oh, man. Crazy. Listen, this is an interesting tournament. I would love nothing more than see Musetti just out of nowhere, out of absolutely nowhere, just be able to do something crazy in this tournament. Whoever wins this, they're the only guy left who's not one of these kind of big four, current big four guys. Not big four. I'm gonna stop saying big four for anybody outside of Murray, Nadal, Federer, and Djokovic. I've made a decision right now. I'm never gonna call anybody other than the big three and big four, the true big three and big four, the big three or big four. That's just not something I'm going to do anymore. But anyone outside of Medvedev, Sinner, Alcaraz, Djokovic, we have whoever wins this is the only guy left in the tournament outside of those guys. And I feel like Medvedev, Alcaraz, and Djokovic all had a statement last performance. Djokovic had an incredible match against Runa. We'll see if he can kind of. It might be tough for him, with his body. Like if he's not there physically, I can imagine that in a way where having a long pause between intense matches, especially when he was prepping his body to play today. I can imagine a scenario where that hurts him, even though the match play, the lack of extra exertion on his body could help him. But it's not like he had a long match against Runa either. I mean. We'll see if this hurts him or helps him more, but Fritz is missing way too many shots in the set. Been very disappointing. But I could imagine that scenario. But that being said, all three of those guys have had a statement last performance. Alcaraz, Medvedev, I have to say Alcaraz the favorite, defending champion, smoked Medvedev last year, but I'm coming in way more confident for Medvedev this year. He's playing his best ever grass court tennis. Huge confidence over a win over Sinner. He's looking motivated. So I just think that's going to be an awesome match. And very unpredictable, even though I would predict Alcaraz wins it. And then, I would not completely discount Musetti, to be honest, or Fritz, but it's looking like Musetti, to be honest. We'll see what Fritz has in him, but Musetti's got probably 98, 99% the momentum right now. Wow, Musetti up 2-1 on Taylor Fritz. Trying to break down Americans' dreams, hopes, and dreams. What Americans are even left in the tournament? Is there any? There's none. I mean, the media has been so much hyping up American players in this tournament, including myself, because I really have been thinking that they've been doing quite well and they have a good chance in this tournament. But there's not going to be a single American on the men's side or the women's side in the semis. Ah, man. That's disappointing, to be honest. It is what it is. Oh, man. Hey, what's up, Snahil? Novak Djokovic in the semis. Let's go, man. Yeah, well, it's disappointing for Musetti, for Minaur, though. But yeah, it's nice to see Musetti doing well in grass. Remember when we picked Musetti over Demon? Do you still remember that? Cam told the whole chat, go after us, and we won. You won. Cheers. Yeah, has this been the least quality Wimbledon since 4 years? Nah, I don't think so. I don't think so. 2022 sucked. 2022 was not good. That was the weirdest Grand Slam tournament like ever. That was so weird. Christian Garin got to the quarterfinals. David Goffin and Norrie were battling neck to neck for a semifinal spot. Nadal withdrew out of the quarters, beating Fritz. Kyrgios was in the final. It was a really weird Wimbledon. That was a weird Wimbledon. Nakashima was in like the quarterfinals, or the round of 16, whatever. That was a weird Wimbledon. Roger wasn't there, even though some people were expecting that he might play. Roger wasn't there. Yeah, Rafa was injured and Murray was having trouble. So, yeah, this is definitely better than 2022. Anthony, that doesn't make sense at all. Like, Novak would be loving the break. Also, then he also gets more relaxed. Probably. That's what I said earlier. I agree. I think I'm not saying, I don't know. I've seen it happen before where actually not having a match hurts players. That's why I say that, but I agree. You have to predict that it's a good thing. Come on, Djokovic is going to smoke Musetti or Fritz. Easy route to the final for Novak. I don't know. We'll see. I could imagine a scenario where it's not. Anthony thinking and hoping the set gets over with quickly so I can get ready for the England match so I can nap through it. Fair enough. Well, Musetti's doing really well. Musetti's doing really well at the moment, so he might kind of breeze through. 2022 Wimbledon at least had 2 or 3 great matches, but grass field is weak anyway. I don't know. I wouldn't necessarily say that. I mean, if you saw how Medvedev and Sinner played yesterday, if you saw how Alcaraz and Paul played yesterday, I mean, they might be lacking experience, but that doesn't mean we've had low level of play. I mean, we've had some great matches. Berrettini versus Sinner, Tiafoe versus Alcaraz. We've had some awesome matches. I would be completely unfair to say that this has been a poor Wimbledon. 36 5-set matches. Djokovic still playing well, the level he had against Runa. I think it's unfair to say. I have positive things to say about it. Fritz is 0-9 versus Novak. Yeah, I would say mostly about Musetti. It kind of seems crazy, but at this point, I'm not discounting Musetti at all. This is classic Fritz. When he's expected to win, he folds. Yeah, I mean, not a good set there. So it's kind of both things happening, but I hope Carlos motivated to win Wimbledon. I mean, he is, Max. He is. If anyone watched tennis enough, they won't overlook Fritz from Musetti. I'm a Novak fan, but I won't do that mistake. Absolutely. 100% agree. All right, that'll do it for me today. I appreciate everybody tuning in. I'll still be watching some of the match, but I got to head out right now. So, yeah, I'll see you guys later. Thanks, everybody, for tuning in. I appreciate you guys like always. And, yeah, I'll see you guys at the next stream for more Wimbledon.